Morrison on a kind of an interesting version of Esper Control. Just one Obsidic Ghost Council as his creature suite. Now this is of course pre-sideboarding, and now but these games are post-board, so he has access to a couple of dudes in the form of Rocks, Faithbender, Snapcaster Mage, but I don't think he's bringing the Faithbenders in. He may bring in the Snapcaster Mages. That's not the craziest thing. Gerard, of course, with Gideon, Champion of Justice. Now that's surprising.
So right now, there are 2 games left in this top 8. The game we are about to watch, Gerard Fabiano versus Mark Morrison, and Richard Wen and Eric Edelkamp. I do not know if they have started their game already, but if they have started their game, yeah, they have started their game. Sorry, my bad. Instruction from our director here, I slightly misunderstood. Mark Morrison on the left in this match is down to 6 cards. Now, Mark Morrison's deck, as you said before, is kind of a halfway between where Gerard Fabiano is playing and what Shaheen Surani has suggested people play.
Yeah, I'm going to run down the main deck for you. As you can see, the sideboard there is on screen, so you kind of have a sense of that. The creature is 1 Obsidic. Spells, he's got 1 Devour Flesh, and now he's got 7 mass removal spells, 3 Supreme Verdict, and 4 Terminus. So that's a lot more than we usually see. Now we see 4 Supreme Verdicts a lot. Terminus has kind of fallen out of favor. Sometimes you'll see it as a 1 of, maybe a 2 of. Maybe you'll see 3 Verdict and 2 Terminus, or like some split of that over the main and the sideboard. But is he going to 5?
Mark Morrison going to 5. And now this is not Doom in this matchup. It is a slow matchup. There's time to recover. You've got Think Twices. You've got Sphinx's Revelations.
Yes.
But it is a hard thing to deal with going to 5 in the control matchup.
We don't know who's on the play here, but we can try to find out. Either way, Mark's in good spirits. So as I mentioned, Verdict, Terminus, he's got 7 mass removal spells. Think Twice, Sphinx's Revelation, 3 copies of Murder. That's quite a bit of murdering going on there. 3 Jace, Architect of Thought, and 3 Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. So as I mentioned, this is more heavy on the Esper Planeswalkers version, although I wouldn't say this resembles Shaheen Zerani's list very much either. So we're underway. Both players leading on a Shockland. Gerard on the play here with a turn 2 Augur of Bolas. So it sounds like Gerard must have won game 1.
Augur
whiffs.
Whiff. Mark, second land pass.
So for a 5-card hand, he's hitting his land drops. And he has a Think Twice and also an Azorius Charm in hand. Draws a Hallowed Fountain there off that Think Twice. Draws for the turn. Going to play a Drowned Catacomb. Comes into play on tap, representing like a Dissipate or a Psychic Spiral. He plays 2 copies of Dissipate. I'm not Psychic Spiral.
Gerard Fabiano, 4th land in attack. Now these players are playing blisteringly fast.
They certainly are.
I am really happy to see that. Most of the time you see a control deck versus control deck, it can take a really long time. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for Gerard for playing nice and quickly.
Yeah, not a lot of decisions at this juncture of the game either, so no reason to be thinking and thinking and thinking.
And Mark Morrison, knocked down to 17, activates the Drown Yard at the end of Gerard Fabiano's turn.
You see he hit a Duress, believe a land, and possibly a Sphinx's Revelation there.
End of the turn, Dimir Charm.
Gerard is going to reorder the top of his library. Or not reorder it, he's going to choose 1 at the top and leave it there, and he's going to put the other 2 in the graveyard, and that's what he does.
That was really interesting. I mean, he's clearly losing a card to do that, but he's getting some selection, and then he gets milled. Now you might ask yourself, why didn't Mark mill him right there? Well, he doesn't want to tap out during before Gerard's main phase has ended.
Yeah, so he declines to mill at that point. You can see he still ended up milling. All right, so still the lone non-land permanent is Augur of Bolas, who is going to town on Mark's life total, has connected 5 times already.
Gerard, 6 lands in play. Mark, 6 lands in play as well. Gerard misses his first land drop here.
And an Azorius Charm from Mark there at the end of Gerard's turn. Now the key here, though, is that Gerard is missing a Drown Yard where Mark has one. And Mark able to actually make some progress on Gerard's library. here while Gerard is doing very little with his mana.
And we see a Sphinx's Revelation, Syncopate, and Duress revealed by Augur of Bolas.
He goes with Duress, puts it in his hand, and he's going to cast it right here. So Duress on the stack.
Duress draws a negate.
And Gerard considering whether or not he should counter this, and it looks like he's going to with Psychic Strike. Counters the negate, and
ooh,
there's a mill. And
that was a really nice hit, actually.
It was Drownyard and Sphinx's Revelation going to the graveyard there.
And then the Duress is still on the stack there.
It certainly is. Gerard's going to take a look and see what exactly he's lost over the course of this game. And now we see Duress.
Dissipate, Murder?
I'm sorry, Dissipate, Murder, Jace. I believe that's Drownyard and another Jace.
Wow. And Dissipate goes away.
Is that Drownyard? I don't think that's Drownyard now.
I don't think so.
What card is that?
It could be a Drownyard, but I don't think it is.
It didn't look Drownyard-ish. It was comparing it. I think it could be a Ghost Quarter. He does play those.
That makes more sense to me. And he does drown at the end of the turn. Lays a land from the top of the library. Lays a Jace. Jace pluses so that the Augurs will not be able to do anything effective. And Gerard here knows his opponent's hand, I believe. Yes,
yeah.
He knows exactly what's in his opponent's hand.
And he has a planar cleansing. He just top decked.
Gideon.
He's going to go with Gideon here.
Ooh. Ouch.
Gideon will go up to 5 here. Now, this is what I was talking about. You know, even with no creatures on Mark's side of the board, Gideon goes up to 5 and represents a 5/5 attacker that dodges sorcery speed removal.
Now we get another drown from Mark.
Dodges sorcery speed creature removal, by the way. I need to clarify that.
Mark Morrison uses the -2 ability. Sphinx's Revelations or no, I believe, is what Gerard is tying. The other card is Syncopate and a land.
Mark trying to decide between his two piles here. That Revelation certainly is attractive, especially when your opponent splits it that way. You know which one at least you feel like you know which one they value more, where they're like, I'll give you 2 cards or Revelation, and you feel like, well, I guess he thinks I should take the Revelation. At least that's what he's more afraid of, and I think that's natural in this situation. But Mark is really thinking about it. He does take the Revelation, puts the Syncopate and the land on the bottom.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with Joey Pasco. This is the StarCityGames.com Open Series featuring Gerard Fabiano here in the quarterfinal match versus Mark Morrison. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have our semifinals and then our finals, and then begin my favorite format in Constructed Magic, Legacy.
So Gerard untaps with Gideon on 5 counters alongside 2 Augurs of Bolas, and that Jace was -2. So those Augurs do have power to attack, or power when they attack this turn. And Gerard pondering his options. He is reading Gideon. You want to put Gideon up on the screen?
Gideon is indestructible.
He does.
And the question that Mark Morrison might be asking himself is, can I murder it?
And the answer is, well, you can murder it, but it won't do anything. So there you see Gideon. He's using a 0 ability. It is becoming a creature that is power and toughness equal to the number of loyalty counters on it. So it is a 5/5, and Gideon fights Jace and wins the fight.
Gideon just basically goes over there, wallops. What did you call Jace before? Superman?
Yeah, we called him Superman.
Wallops Superman on the face. And Sphinx's Revelation now for a grand total of 6. And Gerard thinking about his responses, if any.
He has plenty of mana. He's going to flash back and think twice. Draws an Augur of Bolas. And he has a Psychic Strike. And
boom.
That resolves, and it mills away Obsidat and Sorin. So pretty major threats. Deals with a Sphinx's Revelation, an Obsidat, and a Sorin all in one spell. Of course, Mark didn't have to spend the mana on Sorin or Obsidat, but gets them out of the way.
The other Jace that we knew about.
Gerard knew about it as well, and it is going to -2 and find a Dissipate, a Glacial Fortress, and a Sundering Growth, and Gerard says Dissipate or
no.
the others. And again, Mark is going to go with the Dissipate, the card that Gerard split by itself. There's a ghost quarter.
Mark thinking about other plays that he could make right now.
Mark at 12, Gerard at 18, so both players still
Think twice from the
plenty
hand.
of time. Yeah.
Passes the turn. Gerard Fabiano. 7 power in play. Or
Yeah,
potentially
he's-
7 power.
He can send maybe the augurs at Jace and the, but you know, maybe he doesn't want to get Azorius charmed. Wants to maybe make sure that he.
Augur
He
of
kills that
Bolas
Jace?
before combat.
Yeah, gonna see if Gerard can find some sort of answer to any
Finds think twice.
to an answer that Mark might present. So Gerard says activate Gideon 0 ability, go to combat, swing with these guys, and I think they're all going at Mark. We have a murder on one of the augurs.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, one of them definitely. So he must have split it the way we thought. Gideon at Mark.
Ooh, Obsidian.
Gerard.
Obsidian, just like the Gideon, a very difficult card to be dealt with.
Yeah, so it was split augur and augur at Jace, and Mark had a murder for one of the augurs, so the Jace only got hit by 1, goes to 1 counter. Gideon smashed Mark's life total, and Obsidian came down and drained him. So, we got a. Well, Gerard's counting his library, trying to
Not
decide.
very much left.
Yeah. Also, Gerard is tapped out, so Mark.
I wonder if there's a question of a psychic spiral.
That's what I was wondering about. There is one in Mark's sideboard, as you saw before the game when we had them on the screen. So, very likely to be in Mark's deck for this game. I don't know exactly what happened there. It looked like Mark started drawing his card, and then there was a stop here. So, you see the judge, I believe, is randomizing Mark's deck, possibly. We'll get some info if we can on that. But in the meantime, Mark Morrison versus Gerard Fabiano, Esper Control Mirror here in Game 3 of the quarterfinals of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open Series. And looks like maybe was Mark apparently looked at the second card when drawing first. Is that?
It looks like there was a. Yeah, apparently what has happened is there was looking at extra cards. We're going to see what happens with this.
Wow.
And I hear a cry from the other side of the room.
Maybe we'll
We're
have a
watching the
result.
match here. You can see that Mark and Gerard didn't yell out like that. So I'm wondering if perhaps we have a conclusion to the Richard Wen Eric Edelkamp match.
And if judging from that noise, I'm gonna guess Richard Wynn won because he has a bunch of friends here. They were all wearing that Team Panda shirt. And
Richard,
so-
super nice guy, by the way.
yeah, I got that impression as well. Talked to him a little bit after he locked up top 8, after the Swiss rounds ended, and he was talking about his final match that we covered in the Swiss rounds. He asked if we noticed anything he did wrong, and talked a little bit about that. But yeah, very very friendly guy. So this match though on pause for the moment. Mark Morrison is right now has a Jace Architect of Thought in play on just 1 counter. That is his lone non-land permanent. However, his lands matter very much in this match. He has at least 1 Drown Yard, and Gerard is down to very few cards left in his
Very
library.
few cards.
So Gerard needs to win quickly or not at all. Gerard, though, has the clear board advantage. Not only 2 Augurs of Bolas, which aren't, entirely impressive as far as their board impact in this match, but they have been doing some work. The real advantage is not only that Gideon that you can see there on 5 counters, but an Obsidat you can see that is currently exiled and is going to come into play on Gerard's turn and drain Mark for 2. Gerard with a bunch of lands. We're going to, it looks like they're going to randomize the deck, but keep the known ones from Jace on the bottom. That's the result of the situation. So.
Okay, we have
I'm
the
correct.
match.
Looks like-
Richard Wen, you are correct.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he had a bunch of friends, so I thought that was the shouting.
Well, it could also be the shouting of displeasure.
It sure could. Yeah, It sounded like pleasure to me. Like it sounded like people very excited, not very bummed. Not like Yeah. So
That's fair.
Richard
that's fair.
Wynn does as his name suggests and wins the
Yep.
match 2-1. He is headed to the semifinals. Do we know his opponent?
Yeah, his opponent is John Goss. And
right.
John Goss we saw a little bit earlier. Actually, pardon me, we did see earlier.
Yeah, very early, I believe. He was one of the
Very
jump,
early.
jump
We saw him in
reanimators.
round 4. And Richard Wen, Dark Naya will be playing against John Goss with Junk Midrange. That's
All right,
tomorrow
guys.
morning.
Both
bright
of you
and
guys go back to your hotels and then practice this matchup.
Here we go. Now that things have been resolved here, this is the final game in this top 8. And then there will be one more winner yet. One of you out there will win a premium giveaway of 3 free months of Star City Games Premium. So,
Not quite sure what's going on.
You know,
looks like we got his library back and then took it away again. So we'll see. But again, as you mentioned, we will be announcing the winner for the Star City Games Premium trivia question that we asked a little while ago. And if you're one of the correct answers, one of you will be chosen at random to win 3 months of SCG Premium. We'll be doing that again tomorrow morning, twice, and then tomorrow night, 3 more times. So a lot of premium to give away. I wonder if we can get a count on how many cards are left in Gerard's library. You think it's about 10?
there we go.
They left
Okay,
it.
so yeah. Gerard Fabiano was presented the deck. He cut it, but that means, unfortunately, that the cards that were supposed to be at the bottom were cut into the middle. So that was corrected, and
Yeah.
there we go.
Okay, so a flashback Think Twice from Mark Morrison. This is during his turn, I believe.
Yes, this is during Mark Morrison's main phase. What he is trying to do here, I believe, is now that Gerard is tapped out, he's trying to find something useful to do while the gates are, I guess, are down.
Yeah, the gates are wide open there.
And he says that that's it. Scoops it up.
Can't find it.
Whew. Gerard Fabiano, our winner here.
These Esper matches, these Esper mirrors are so much fun to watch. We watched Gerard earlier